Starts with me, but then from that point it has to go through every person in our company, from the regional managers to the managers to the assistant managers, golf course superintendent, salespeople, dishwashers, cart boys. It goes all throughout our company, and every person in our company has to live and breathe radical hospitality. That's how we're going to set ourselves apart. That's how we're going to beat the competition.
Hi, and welcome back to Eagle Golf's one-way training. Hope your week has been going well so far. Let's kick off day 4 by talking about checklists and balances. Every day we ask ourselves 3 simple questions. Did I do my part? Did you do your part? And are we ready to go? What we're really talking about is accountability and productivity. At Eagle Golf, accountability means holding yourself responsible for doing your part and holding your teammates responsible for doing their part. Our greatest accountability tool is the tried and true checklist. Depending on the size of the club you're working at, you may have seen a couple of these floating around over the last 3 days of training. If you're at a larger club, there may be one per station in back of the house and one per station in front of the house. If you're at a smaller club, there may just be a couple in back of the house, a couple in the front of the house. But these are the tools we use to hold ourselves and our teammates accountable. And as you can see on the graphic in front of you, there's a longer list of those we use to hold ourselves accountable, and then there's a shorter list that the managers use to make sure that our checklists are finished, and then there's a general manager's walkthrough that checks the manager's checklists. So as you can see, this is our flow of accountability. We also use these checklists to establish productivity. Whereas accountability ensures that everything gets done, it's productivity that ensures we can get as much stuff done throughout the course of a business day as possible. Because to us, productivity is the quantifiable measure of output over a defined period of time. In short, you've probably heard the adage, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. Well, nobody really wants to hear this coming out of a manager's mouth, and there's not many managers who actually want to say it. So the checklists serve as a reference for when you find yourself with idle time. Or if you're looking for something to do, you can always refer back to them and find something to do that'll make you feel productive. It is really no different than putting together a to-do list at your house. If you need to do the laundry or clean the dishes or clean your floor, you put together a little to-do list. The checklist is just the same. So take a few moments and ask yourself, how does being productive make you feel? Hit pause on the video real quick and share with your trainer 2 to 3 examples of things that you do that are productive that make you feel good. And when you're ready to come back, just hit play and we'll keep going. All right, welcome back. We're going to take a few minutes to watch a short little video clip. This video clip highlights and outlines productivity at its best. This is a clip of Super Bowl 42, at least the last 2 minutes of Super Bowl 42. Some of you may have seen this game, some of you may not have. It was a game between the New York Giants and the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots were undefeated. No one had even come close to beating them. The New York Giants barely got into the playoffs. But these last 2 minutes of Super Bowl 42 highlight just how productive the New York Giants were in driving down the field to knock off the New England Patriots. Let's watch the clip, think about productivity, and when we come back, we'll do a little recap on what productivity means and how it pertains to this video. One of the best results we found from our checklists are that they break habits we don't want and they help build habits that we do want. But this really just pertains to our day-to-day work life. There are some habits out there, though, that transcend the day-to-day. And Stephen Covey has put these habits together in a book of his called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In the video clip to follow, a gentleman's going to walk you through these 7 habits in detail and give you a mnemonic way of remembering them.
Stephen Covey wrote a runaway bestseller titled The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This book has sold over 10 million copies worldwide. That's 10 million. That's a lot of books. In the book, Covey lays out 7 proven principles for success. I have 2 specific goals for the next few minutes. My first goal is to give you an understanding of all 7 of the principles, and my second goal is for you to remember all 7 of Stephen Covey's principles of success in order, forever. How's that for a challenge? Let's get started. I want to go through each of the 7 now and tell you what I personally learned from them. Number 1, be proactive. That's self-explanatory, and it means you're taking the initiative in your life. Number 2, begin with the end in mind. Focus on the big picture end game. What do you want to accomplish? One suggestion is to imagine yourself sitting in the back of the room at your funeral and listening to what people could honestly say about you. Do you like what you hear? If not, go out and change your life. Number 3, do first things first. This means focus on your most important priorities, your top priorities. Number 4, think win-win. In personal, business, or other relationships, make both parties winners. Don't think win-lose. If they lose, in the long run, you'll end up losing too. Number 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Communication is a two-way street. To develop win-win relationships, find out what the other parties want first, and then communicate what you want second. Number 6, synergize. Synergizing means working in a way where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and each of them complements and strengthens the other. Number 7, sharpen the saw. There's an old story about a man who's just sitting sawing a log. He's going along. And the work is going slowly and the man's exhausted. The more he saws, the less he cuts. Somebody sees this and suggests that the man take a break to sharpen the saw. But the man says he can't stop to sharpen the saw because he's just too busy sawing. Highly effective people take the time they need to sharpen their tools, which are, for most of us, our bodies, our souls, our minds, and our hearts. Now it's time to have some fun. We're going to be using mnemonics to remember this information. Mnemonics are simply memory techniques. And the one we're using today is the use of pictures in your mind to remember information. To begin with, I'm going to ask everybody to remember a silly little story. When I tell the story, try to create clear pictures in your head to remember it. You'll see it's going to work. Our first picture in the story is a big professional football player, or simply a pro. Imagine the football player is running to the goal line, and before he starts running, he has a picture of the end zone or the goal post in his head. So he's got a picture of the end zone in his head. Next to the goal post in the end zone is a huge first place blue ribbon. Standing on the blue ribbon are two men. They're literally clasping hands in a victory sign. Now, here's where the story gets a little weird. In the stands, watching the game and seeking to understand what's going on is Sherlock Holmes. He's complaining to the attendant because he's seating in a section full of Energizer bunnies who just won't sit down. No surprise there. And right in front of this seat is a huge Energizer bunny with a saw, one of those saws, and a giant pencil sharpener. Congratulations. You've just learned the 7 habits of highly effective people. You don't believe me? Let's go through them. Let's go back to the first picture. The first picture is a pro football player. Habit number 1 is be proactive. The second picture is the end zone. Habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. The third picture, next to the goal post, is his first place ribbon. Habit number 3, put first things first. The fourth picture, standing on the ribbon, are two men, remember, clasping hands. Habit number 4 is think win-win. The fifth picture is Sherlock Holmes seeking to understand the game. Habit number 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. The sixth picture, we've got the Energizer bunnies. Instead of energize, we synergize. In the middle of the bunnies is one big bunny sharpening the saw. Habit number 7, if you remember, sharpen the saw. Congratulations. You've just learned the 7 habits of highly effective people. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and visit selfgrowth.com.
And now that you know the 7 habits of highly effective people, I challenge you to go out and master them. You'll be excited by the results.